All right, guys, this is going to be my very first long form CLO3D video on YouTube. And, maybe you've seen one of my dozens of short form videos on Instagram. This is kind of my attempt to bring something new to the CLO content that is on YouTube instead. I feel like there's a ton of instructional stuff. There's a lot of very one-off CLO tutorials, but I don't feel like anyone is actually just making something, like a full project just for the love of the game. So that's what I'm gonna try and do on here. I'm not expecting any of these videos to get a ton of views. I'm just hoping to show some people who might be curious what a full CLO3D project workflow looks like. And the cool part is that you can feel free to follow along with these videos because all of them are going to be based off of the CLO3D base patterns that you can find linked in my description here. They're totally free. They're just a great starting point for doing any project. And I just want to show you guys kind of how easy it is to use CLO when you have a pattern to start off of. So in this video specifically, we're going to be using the Royal Navy PCS trouser pattern, and you can download that at the link. And then last thing before we get started, I'm pretty obligated to mention my CLO3D Beginners Bootcamp. I recorded over 40 guided video lessons on basically every tool and workflow that you might need to know if you are just starting in CLO3D. There's practice files included in the course, and I made it progressive, so you work on those practice files as you work your way through the course content. So it's not just random one-off tutorials like you'll find here on YouTube. More info on that and a pretty decent discount code are found in the description as well. But yeah, anyway, let's just get into the video. I think the first thing that I want to identify here are just the things that I really like and the things that I don't really like about the pattern. So first thing that you can see right in the front is this little gusset piece here. I do like it. I think it could kind of give us some cool tonal paneling or something. I could make the rest of the pants one color, change the color of the gusset. The only thing that I don't really like about it is the shape. I think it'd be a lot cooler if it was a little bit rounder. So we're going to try and have to figure out how to do that. Another thing I like are these giant angled pockets. Those are just so cool. They add such cool lines to this back part of the pant. I think the back view is super cool. This angled pocket lines that you get here, which leads me into the other thing that I like. And I'm going to put it in this schematic render view for you guys so you can see all the lines a little more clearly. This two-piece back leg is also giving this other really cool kind of line here. And I'm kind of seeing a bit of an upside down star shape in these lines. So I'm thinking I can cut the panels a little bit and kind of make a star on the back of the pants with some paneling. I think that could be really cool. Some paneling or stitching, we'll see what looks best. But yeah, you can really just see you can see this angle here, and it's just making if I just made a panel right here and then another one coming this way, two cuts, I think that could make a cool star shape on the back. I really like these giant back pockets. Those are just really nice to have. Many modern pants have a waistband, and these don't have a waistband. They have a yoke in the back, but there's no waistband that goes all the way around. You can see this is all just one front piece. I think I'm gonna keep that because it's just kind of unique. I think it could kind of mess with the fit a little bit, but you could always just wear a belt. That's kind of just a built-in waistband. There are belt loops anyway for it, so that's good. Something I don't like though are the pleats. I'm gonna get rid of the pleats. I don't know if that's controversial, but I'm just not a pleated pants guy. I kind of want to go for a more modern look, a little bit streetwear adjacent type of look. So we are definitely going to be getting rid of these. It should be pretty easy. We're just going to have to kind of delete those lines. But everything else I'm kind of messing with. I think we'll just customize some little parts. Oh, I do think the opening of the pants could be wider. I think that I just like a wider pant opening, the way it hits on your boots or your shoes. I like that kind of flooded look a little bit more when it comes to cargo, so I'm definitely going to do that. You can see over here, we just have the front pattern piece is just a almost 8-inch opening. The back is 10. So yeah, we could make those just a little bit wider, maybe a little bit more flared or something. I think that could look pretty cool. But yeah, let's just kind of get into it. I think that first change that I'm going to make is getting rid of these pleats. So I'm just going to zoom in here. You can see how the pleats are working here. We have these internal lines, and when I go to my sewing relationships here, you can see that this internal line is sewn to this internal line, creating that pleat. So what I'm going to do is select this sewing relationship, and I'm just going to delete it. And then you can also see up here these two sides are sewn together and these two sides are sewn together. So I'm going to delete those sewing relationships as well. And then I'm just going to get rid of these lines completely. So what's going to happen when I delete those though, is that there's not going to be any pinching in the front of the pant anymore. So this segment up here is going to get longer because it was originally collapsed between these points here, and now it's not anymore. So when I simulate this, you'll watch this like pop open. You just saw it kind of unfold there. And that made the pants, I don't know, maybe like an inch wider in the waist than they should be. So what we're gonna do is go in and select all these points that originally had those internal lines attached to them. And I'm gonna right click and I'm going to convert to curve point. So this is just gonna get rid of all those segments and just leave one smooth line, which is really nice. And once we do that, we can change the length of it. So now that we have just one smooth line, I'm gonna right click it and I'm going to go to change length. Right now it's 6.735. Let's just put it at a whole number. Let's just go with 6. And then you can see it's wanting to chop the length off of this side and not this side. And I can change that by going to direction. And instead of either start or end, which would be this side over here, I'm going to choose both. So that will just make it an even amount of length taken off of both sides, and then I'll hit OK. So then you can see in the 3D pattern where that length came off of over there and over there. And so that's just gonna make the pattern a little bit smaller so it fits a little better around the waist, and I will simulate that. And there we go. It's kind of falling down on our mannequin right now. I'm not going to size the mannequin at this moment. I don't really feel like it. It's a bit of work. Grab this tool here called the basic circumference measure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto my avatar and I'm going to click right at the front, and then I'm going to go to the back and click right at the back, right at his waist. And then it's going to give me this circumference measurement. And you can kind of choose however you want to do it. I want to go super flat, right at his waist, 33 inches at the waist, which is pretty good for a sample size. And now that we have this like measurement here, we can attach the waistband to that measurement so it doesn't fall down so much, which is, super helpful. So then I'm going to go to the tool right above it, attach to measure. I'm going to select that. And then I just got to go around and click the different parts of the waistband and then click the little measurement. So I'm going to go boom, boom. I just work my way around the different segments. Do all that. Okay. Just a few more. It doesn't even have to be all of them. Like I skipped a few and it's totally fine. And then I will simulate and you'll watch it like fly up and attach right there. So just so it doesn't fall down or anything, just while we're still constructing, you don't want stuff, flying around anywhere. Okay, let's turn the avatar off again. So now the next thing that I'm gonna do, I think we should add in some different fabric for this. I think we'll probably go with like a ripstop or maybe like a twill or something. So I'm gonna go over here to my library and I'm gonna go to fabrics and I'm gonna look for ripstop. And there's one that I really like to use and a few of them that kind of stink. I think it's this really like bright yellow one, V2 woven ripstop. I'm gonna add that to workspace and then we're gonna change the color of it, obviously. I love an army green cargo. It's like something I wear almost every single day are my kind of olive drab cargos. So what I'm gonna do is go down here and I'm gonna hit desaturate, and that's going to desaturate the color map of the fabric. And then I'm going to choose a color. And since we have a white base now that we've desaturated it, I'm going to go in and look for a nice kind of olivey green. And, this is totally subject to change. I just want something nicer to look at than just like the white base fabric. This fabric should be a little thicker and add some more structure as well. So I'm just going to select every single pattern piece and then grab the woven ripstop from over here and just drop it onto those pattern pieces. Okay, so we have this new fabric on there. It's looking like, you can see it's like kind of like shiny, which is a little bit ugly. So we can change that around. We go over here, go down to reflection intensity, and I'm just gonna make that 0. And then I do think that the ripstop is like a little bit small. We could probably make that a little bit bigger. You can go over to, where is it? Not displacement map. I think normal map. Yeah, go to normal map, transformation, and then change the width. Right now it's 2.5. Let's just try it. Let's double it, just make it 5. Actually, no, that was the wrong setting. Base color map. Oh yeah, okay, so it's actually in base color map here. I'm just gonna go over here and in width, I'm gonna change that to 5, and it's just gonna make the squares a little bit bigger. I think it's a nicer texture if you ask me. I'm gonna simulate again and kind of let this ripstop pattern kind of take over. I think it's a little bit more structured than our default fabric that we had, so that looks a lot nicer already. Okay, what do I want to do next? Let's go ahead and make the pants a bit wider in the front here. The way it's laying right now, it's kind of like pulling up right here, but then it gets really skinny at the bottom. And I want that to be, you know, kind of the same width the whole way through. So let's see what we can just kind of eyeball this. Right now we're at 7. Right now the length of the opening is 7.75. So we're gonna right click and change length. And I don't know, let's go with like 9. Nice even number. And I'm gonna do from both sides again. I'm gonna hit okay. And so you can see the added width on there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for the back. So right now we're at 10 and I'm gonna change that to, let's do like 11.5. Both sides, I'm gonna hit okay. And then we just have to simulate again. And you can kind of watch it populate that in. And we're getting a bit of a wider pant leg at the bottom. I think that already looks like a lot cooler. Okay, sweet. Next up, what else do I wanna change? I think let's tackle this gusset thing here. I think it's a gusset. It's something definitely similar to a gusset. But so we're not going to need these extra gusset pieces that are on here right now because we are going to make new ones. And you can kind of see how they did it before. It's like this teardrop shape. Let's get rid of the inner one. And now we have this outer one. And I want to like move away from that kind of teardroppy shape. Okay, I'm pressing G on my keyboard, getting my internal line tool out. And actually, I'm going to change the rendering style to monochrome so we can see my lines a little bit better instead of just being stuck on the green. And I'm just going to go from here. And I think maybe if I make the gusset a little bit higher up than so low, like when it was all the way down here, we can kind of lock in that circle a little bit better. So let's try like here this time. And then I'm going to press C. And this is looking like a little bit more circular. And then I'm going to use the handles here. So that's a little bit rounder. I'll do the same thing on the bottom. And I just don't want to intersect this line here where we're connecting the pocket. I'm gonna get really close to it, but just don't want to intersect with it. And then let's just keep pushing this out as much as we can. Okay, I like that it's rounder. It's definitely rounder than it was. I think that looks pretty cool. Now that we have those lines in, what I'm gonna do is actually make a copy of these. So Command C, Command V, obviously. And then I'm going to just cut out this circle here. So we're gonna do cut. Okay. So now we have, and then we deleted the copy of the pants, and now what we have left are just these kind of gusset pieces here, just like we had before. So now they're over here. Let's sew those back on. So I'm just gonna press M on my keyboard and go around the outside of the circle and do that all the way around here. Boom. And since they are symmetrical, they will both sew at the same time. You won't have to do it twice. So then I got to do this inseam line, boom, and then the crotch line right here, boom. Oh, we have an overlapping line. I don't know what that's about. Oh, it's already sewn down. Oh, those are sewn to each other. I don't know why they're sewn to each other, but I'm going to delete that and try this again. We're going to sew from here and here. Okay, so now I can drag these. Now I can select these and get them kind of in place here. Pull them out a little bit so we can watch this happen. Okay, now I'm gonna simulate. Boom, kind of a new gusset piece. Let's select these both and we're gonna strengthen by pressing Command L just to kind of get them a little bit separated from what they're laying on top of. That just gets a better interaction between your fabric pieces. Let's make the second color of fabric here. Right now we have this kind of like olivey green. I love like a tonal difference when it comes to paneling. So I'm just gonna go like a few stops darker, just like super subtle. Okay, I'll apply that. And then we're gonna grab this new fabric that we just made and we're gonna drag that onto those new pieces. So now you can just see that barely different color change there. Looks pretty cool. And then I think that this is going to be the color that I go with for that kind of star pattern that I want to do on the back. Let me turn our internal lines back on. Should we just get to the star part? I think that could be fun. Okay, so we can see this line here. That looks cool already, but I'm going to add in more lines. So we're going to need one going here, from here to here, to make that part of the star. And then that goes down and into the inside of into the inseam of the pant. So, and then we'll cut that out and make that panel a different color. So let's see, where is right here? If we look in our 2D window, we can see right where we clicked. And I'm just going to go from right at that point, right where, basically where this connects. And I'm just going to go across, and we'll just have to kind of eyeball it for now and see where that lines up. I think it could be a little bit shorter. Okay. And then we're going to need the line that makes the top point of the star. So that would be, which way is that? Is that this way? No. Yes. This way, right? Yeah. Okay. That's too tall of a top of the star. So let me go like that. Are you guys seeing the star? Let me turn on the, oh yeah, there we go. That looks so sick. Very cool. Okay. Maybe just a tiny bit less of a hard angle there. Yeah. So then when you're standing, obviously you can, okay. So now that we have that, I need to cut out this new slice I just put in here. So I'm going to select my internal lines and right click and do cut and sew. There we go. Pops right off. Okay. So now if we go back to our schematic view, yep, you can see the cut in there now. And I think we're just going to take this other color here, drop that on. Okay, we're getting one side. Let's see the other. Oh yeah. Okay, that looks pretty cool. It's definitely giving like, you know, American military with the star, but I'm kind of rocking with that. That looks very sick to me. Okay, and then once we put in like the top stitching and stuff, I think it's really going to pop and look really cool. What are some other changes I can make? You know, I'm not entirely sure if I like no waistband or not. I feel like it is missing, you know, a line right here, which we could put in as just like a stylistic line. It doesn't actually have to be a waistband. Let's see. Let's just try it just to see what it looks like. So I'm going to go, let's try like here to here and then curve it a tiny bit just so it's like right under, no, higher even. So it's above the belt loops maybe. You know, I could spend all day trying these different things. Let's attach that. And then I do think that this would probably be better with a double layer around the waist for both maybe the yoke and this kind of front waist part that I just created. So let's try that. I'm just going to right click and choose, where is it? It's layer clone. Oh yeah, layer clone over. And then it gives you two more pieces and that will just place them perfectly on top of your other two pieces and it will sew them down automatically as well. And yeah, that actually looks pretty good. I like that it adds that thickness that will probably add some more stability. Do I do that with the yoke as well or do I just leave the yoke? I think I just leave the yoke as it is. Okay, what else can we add here? Let's start adding in the top stitching. That always helps me visualize the piece a little bit better. So I'm going to turn off my internal lines here and it just looks very plain. I'm going to go to our fabric colors. I'm going to choose the darker one and I'm just going to copy this color code here and then go back to the top stitching and then go to color, paste in that code, and then we're just going to go just slightly darker than that. The thread thickness, I'm going to change to like 150 because the top stitching is always like almost invisible. I'm going to make a copy of this first default top stitch and I'm going to choose a second one and go to stitch count and make it a double. So that way there will be two stitches when you put in the top stitch and that will just kind of like automatically do those kind of double stitching lines much easier for us. So I'm gonna go to my second stitch and I'm gonna do, so distance from stitch 1, let's make that like an eighth. And then I'm gonna go to free top stitch tool. I'm just gonna paint this in right here. Nope, 1/8 was not enough. Let's do 1/4. Try that. Yeah, okay, I'm liking that more. And then I'm gonna make it even thicker. Let's make the thread thickness 200. I can never see it. Okay, so we have our single top stitch here. Let's make that 200 as well. And then our double is down here. We'll just name this one double, this one single. And then with the double, I'm gonna put that on we're gonna put the double on the, what is this piece called? On the gusset here. Let's go all the way around. It doesn't matter at this point. Paint that in on the inside there, kind of hard to see. And then we do line right there on the crotch. Okay, starting to come together a little bit. Then let's do the out seam with our single, because we're going to do it on both sides. So you can see our single stitch there, and then we do the same thing all the way down the pant on this side as well. And you can see that getting painted in there. I do this little pocket facing. I should probably actually draw a full pocket for it. Maybe. We'll see if I want to do that. I hate doing pockets. It takes so much time. We're going to do this around our new little reinforced waistband here. Go all the way around the bottom. Okay. And I don't know, this part is just for fun. I don't know if this is actually how the sewing would look for these things, but I just think it adds so much more life to the garment. Let's do the double stitching on the pocket here. So I'm gonna go to double, free top stitch, and go around the pocket like that. That looks cool. Or the pocket flap actually. And then do the same thing for the actual pocket. Cool. Did that on both sides for us automatically. Love that. We gotta do the inseam. Can't forget about the inseam. Go back to single and go all the way down the inseam. Boom. See that in there, just barely. All right. Now let's just start doing the back. I mean, we got to do every little piece. So single, boom, boom. Okay. Getting those details in. Gotta do the inseam for this side. And then I think for the star, let's do the double. That'll look really sick. So let's start with the internal line. Boom, boom. Oh, well, the pocket's covering it, so actually it doesn't matter. You don't need to see it. We need to do this though, here and here. Yeah, that looks awesome. Same thing with the top. Sweet. And then let's do the back pockets. Easy, easy. I love the way these turned out already. They're super cool. And that, that took me, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. It was pretty quick. Now, I didn't change, a ton of details here, but I have a pretty good base going for just kind of transforming a design real quickly using a base pattern. And that's like the beauty of these base patterns. It just really gives you such a good place to start, and it makes it so much easier. This is something I really struggled with when I was learning how to do pattern making and stuff, was just finding like that place to start in CLO. Oh, can't forget the belt loops. I'm going to do the segment top stitch and just highlight. Nope, that looks crazy. That's not how a belt loop is stitched. I'm just going to go to the single and select all of it. Oh, there we go. That looks, okay, yeah, that looks a lot better. If you just use the segment top stitching tool and just highlight all of the lines, it'll just paint them all on automatically. So then I got to find my other ones and just go like, boom. There we go. We have the top stitching in there. That looks super sick. I don't know. We'll definitely need to change this button actually. Let's go up here, and it's just like a really distracting white button, isn't it? Click the button and then let's enter that color code for the darker green. Probably be darker than that even. Oh, there, that looks pretty good. Go to my thick textured surface so we can see the inside of the pant a little bit. What does it look like from the inside? Oh, you can't see the star pattern really. Nope. Maybe like a strap around the pockets could be cool. Let's just try putting a different color on the pocket flaps just to like, I don't know, see if it adds something to it. The darker color. So I'm going to grab at least these two back pocket flaps and put that on there. Not bad. I don't like it when it's like you made too many like super obvious tonal choices just for like the heck of it. I think I'll revert it back. I like it better just kind of like this color. Let's go to our schematic view. Yeah, that is clean. I love these. These are super cool. Maybe in the next part, I'll try out some different colorways. We'll use the colorway editor and kind of like mess around with that. That could be pretty cool. I could finish the pockets in here. I really don't feel like it. I don't think I'm going to actually. But yeah, if you guys want my totally free list of CLO3D base patterns so you can do projects just like this, just comment the word list on this video and I will automatically send that to you totally for free. You just got to sign up with your email, and yeah, that's it. It's seriously so much easier to use CLO once you like have a good base pattern to start off of. And I just think it's like, so valuable to have something like that as a resource. So definitely check that out. Check out the full video on YouTube if you're not already here. And I will see you guys in the next one. Follow for more 3D fashion. Bye.